Okay, hello and welcome to the concluding session in MSDynamicsWorld.com's Fall BI and Reporting webcast series. I'm Jason Gumpert, and I'm really happy to welcome you all to today's event, which should be a lot of fun. We have representatives from our 4 webcast series sponsors on the line with us for this live shootout, and they are each going to spend about 12 minutes telling you about all the latest and greatest on their companies and their solutions. Before I get started, I just want to mention we've had a really outstanding BI and reporting webcast series this fall, and here are some of those presentations online. We got some very positive feedback. I think these session topics really seem to hit the nail on the head in terms of topics that are relevant to you all, and we're glad to hear that. So please do go back and check those out on MSDynamicsWorld.com. They are all on demand right now. So for today, we have 4 presenters, and the order of the presentations will be Trey Johnson from Zap, Dan Schwartz from BioAnalytics, Frank Bunker from Silvon, and Brandon Kirby from IQ for Business. So those are our 4 presenters, and we will take questions at the end. We'll save that till the end, so please do feel free to utilize either the chat or the Q&A blocks that you'll see to the right of the screen, either during the event or at the end. And we'll get to as much Q&A as we can at the end from all our presenters. So let me begin by welcoming our first presenter, Trey Johnson of Zap, and I will now give him control of the floor.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Jason. And so, just need to go and share my desktop here, and appreciate all the beeps that are still beeping in as we get going. So. Here we go. I think we should have screen sharing starting. And wanted to just spend the next 12 minutes just talking a little bit with you here during your morning or your afternoon about Zap's analytics solution for the Microsoft Dynamics platform. And so to do that, I'm going to use a few slides, but I'm also going to use the opportunity to demonstrate a little to you as well. So getting straight into it, when we talk about Zap's analytics solution, Microsoft Dynamics, we're really starting with obviously the foundation, that investment that you've made in either Dynamics CRM, NAV, or AX. And built on top of that is our Cube Express platform. And this is the first of the few different elements that we have that represents that total analytical solution. Cube Express being a wizard-based technology that garnered Microsoft's Global ISV Solution of the Year, allows for us to connect to Dynamics AX, Dynamics CRM, and the other applications in a very specific way to extract not only the standard elements, but your customizations as well. And as a result, not only build a reporting environment, such as an operational data store, but also to build a SQL Server Analysis Services Cube. And then on top of that, what we deliver is simply the Zap Business Intelligence Platform. That is a web-based analytical application that supports the delivery of reports, charts, dashboards, scorecards, and KPIs directly within the browser or directly through the other user interfaces such as the AX Enterprise Portal or role-tailored client, the CRM user interface, or natively embedded within SharePoint as well as an application. And then lastly, but certainly not least, the total value of our analytical solution includes several hundred pieces of prepackaged analytical content. These are analytics that span multiple areas of the ERP, as well as areas of sales, service, and marketing within CRM. And so talking about the customers that we have, the value that we have, we have found here in this busy quarter that leads up to the holiday season that apparently Zap's on many of the AX and CRM customer shopping list. And that's mostly because, the solution that we bring to bear is solving a lot of the problems that many of you have, either with unlocking the data within AX or CRM, or simply wanting to move beyond maybe some of the standard functionalities that you have gotten through those products. And so as an example, we have Rockwater Energy Solutions. That happens to be a brand new customer for our organization. They saw our product for the first time in October. I believe it was October 27th. And about 9 days later, they actually purchased the product following a very successful proof of concept. And shortly within a few weeks after that, they actually were delivering multiple reports to their board that they had not ever been able to deliver before. And so their CIO, amongst many others, were actually on a webcast that we did the other day that all talked about the value of purchasing analytics as a starting point versus building from the ground up. And so one of the other aspects that's very unique about Zap is not only do we have a very strong and referenceable customer base, but we have an equally strong and referenceable partner base as well. So I won't necessarily read through the slides here, but as examples of partners we're working with, whether it be Columbus or Hitachi or even HP, we're working with them in both a national and global context because our business is a global business supporting customers all over the globe. In terms of our product's capabilities, one of the things that we have done very well within our technology is we've engineered to be very much a product that's approachable by a very wide audience. And so one of the things that I'm going to endeavor to do here is simply to show you how you can unlock some of the value of the analytical data that you have stored within the AX environment or the CRM environment using our prepackaged applications. And as you look at the screens, this is one example of the many pieces of analytical capabilities that our platform delivers. And so with that, I'm going to just simply do a little bit of a switch here, and we're going to bring up the AX Role Center environment. And basically what you're seeing is you're seeing the Zap analytical content, prepackaged analytical content in the way of KPIs, fully embedded here within the Role Center, with the opportunity to really deliver business intelligence where we feel like it needs to be delivered most. That is within the user interfaces that your users will use every day, whether it be AX, whether it be a CRM, whether it be SharePoint, but basically giving the opportunity for analytics such as these KPIs to surface and allowing users to not only interact with them here within the Role Center, but essentially allowing us to look at those poor performing KPIs such as the ones with the red status here and navigate slightly beyond that. In this case, I'm launching an underlying dashboard. In this case, it's an accounts receivable dashboard. And this accounts receivable dashboard happens to be a composite of the analytics built off the top of the analysis services cube that was built with our Cube Express technology. And so what you can see is you can see a day sales outstanding metric, a more focused scorecard, examples of analytical trends, and even a pie chart representing the distribution of their aged receivables. And as an example of going possibly a step further, we can go down a level into a specific aging report. And while this is not necessarily the sexiest report that you can create with the Zap product, it does give you a good sense of some of the capabilities, including the interactive ability to very quickly and easily ask questions and get answers by applying a filter, applying a sort. And in the scenarios where you need to go beyond the data that's on a given report, we also have the opportunity to very simply and easily right-click on a given customer and directly launch the Dynamics AX user interface for this particular customer. And so we support those types of interactions, those navigations that to the end user has them feeling like they're working directly within AX. And correspondingly, we also have that same capability within the CRM environment as well. So I'll probably conclude here quickly by just simply showing examples of some of the dashboards that are available directly embedded here within the CRM environment. And you'll notice that not only are we looking at charts, we're looking at KPI gauges, but we're looking at analytics that we have determined were best practice analytics for both CRM and the ERP, and being the only BI product globally certified for both Microsoft Dynamics CRM and the ERP products, that allows us to very quickly and easily address some of the most impending needs that the organizations have, whether I'm simply analyzing by the various types of campaigns here, interactively sorting, or possibly even choosing to go down a level as well. So I've expanded the direct marketing campaign type here. And very lastly, I'll just show you one of my most favorite features, the ability to really incorporate Zap and analytics specifically into the user interfaces as well. So as we see the CRM campaign come up on the screen here, one of the things that's tightly integrated Zap metrics themselves that will actually show up here within this user interface. And where the user has a desire to explore beyond that, they can simply right-click, they can drill through, and they can get the details on those 30 orders as well. So in conclusion, We are Zap Technology. We have analytical solutions for Dynamics CRM, Dynamics AX. Strong opportunity to bring that data together, and that's probably one of the many reasons why we have such a strong working relationship with the partners we mentioned, with an increasing list of customers, and even a strong working relationship with Microsoft, where we're the only BI product that's installed in their demonstration environment, and they're actually now using our Dynamics AX ERP analytics to demonstrate to AX prospects directly from Microsoft as well. So thank you very much for the time. I think I'll just yield whatever balance is left and stop sharing on my end. And Jason, I think that will allow you to switch it over to the next person.
All right, Trey, thanks so much. Our next speaker is Dan Schwartz from BioAnalytics. And Dan, I will now make you the presenter.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Just share my desktop and we'll get started. Our company is BioAnalytics. Bio stands for Business Information Optimization. Our real goal is to help you monetize the value of the millions of data points that you're collecting just as a byproduct of doing your day-to-day work. Bio is a complete business intelligence solution that lets you pull information not only from Dynamics, but from other data sources as well. To be a complete business solution, there's really three main components that need to be in place. One of them is visualization, and that's what's the tool the users can use to interact with the information, whether they're a data explorer or one or two click users. There are hundreds of visualization tools out there from $100 and billion-dollar companies. The tool we're using is we've partnered with IBM Cognos, and we include that as part of our solution. But Bio creates great content. That's our strength. And if you want to use Bio with any other visualization tool that's out there, you're welcome to do so. The other component that is really strong is the content. How do we take pre-configured content from the Dynamics platform and make that available? And whether it's Dynamics Nav, GP, SL, whichever it is, we have a huge amount of content. Over 500 different objects have been identified that basically make it easy for you to install, get up and running, and get real value-added information. Visualizations are great, but if they don't have great content behind them, it's not doing a lot of good. And the third component that we must have is a platform that helps you design, deploy, and maintain, integrate, and expand that content, that platform for other systems, and to really to customize for your company as well. So how is Bio different? It's the ease of use, which we're about to show you in a little case study. It's how easy it can be expanded to include other data sources other than Dynamics, how adaptable it is, and affordable. I think we're probably, from a cost perspective, one of the lowest cost solutions you'll see today, but we get a great ROI for that. So what we're going to do is a little bit different. I'm going to spend a little bit more time actually creating an example. So our little case study here is I'm going to go into the Bio viewer and create this analysis. And the situation we have is we're dealing with a food company. They sell pasta and sauce. They sell it to consumers through supermarkets, institutions like the military, and colleges and restaurants. And what drives the business is the ratio of sauce to pasta, since sauce is a high-margin product. So what we want to do is create an exception report that looks and creates that new KPI, the sauce ratio we'll call it, and look at any customer who's dropped more than 15%. So I'm going to just get out of my PowerPoint, go right into my Bio viewer, and this is a web-based visualization tool, so this is not going to be as pretty at this point as what you've seen before, but we're really getting to the content, to hard data. So we've got sales of $31 million as of October year to date. Let's switch that around and look at it by product. We're going to look at our pasta and sauce. And notice how we can just create an on-the-fly calculation and create our sauce ratio simply by dividing sauce by pasta. I'm just pointing and clicking. And we'll call that the sauce ratio. And now I'm interested in comparing it year over year, but before that, let's format it a little bit and give it a decimal place so you can see some of the differences. And now I'll just keep the sauce ratio and bring down the two time periods we're interested in, the year-to-date and the prior year-to-date. So let's put prior year-to-date in there. And let's just calculate our variance. And I should be able to do this in under 3 minutes of the whole exercise. So I'll just bring up the calculator. We'll bring in a built-in function called variance percent. And we'll say, let's take the year-to-date. Oh, type backwards there. We'll take the year-to-date. And now we have the variance percent. And what we're going to do is just add in, we'll put year-to-date back up here. And now we have a very simple analysis that shows sales. We got our 31 million back, our SOS ratio for the current year, and what the variance is year over year. So some of the simple things a lot of products don't do. Like we just want to change the display name and call it sales. That's simple. Let's do one more thing. We just want those customers who have an exception, meaning their ratio has changed more than 15%. And it's easy enough to do that simply by teaching the system what we want to do. So we're just going to do a sort and select based on the variance, that if it has a range that's less than minus 15, we want to see it in ascending order. You're going to stop teaching. And we are done. So now I'm just looking at everybody that has an exception. But this is an interactive report. So if I wanted to just look at my military and identify those specific customers, I could just pick institutional military, and now you can see we just have military that have that percentage that are exceptions. Or if we wanted to take it around another way and say I'm just looking at customers by salesperson, and I think Alex has a few here, and have him check just his customers that are on that exception report. We're just looking at one person. If we take it a little bit more, I'm just going to flip over to a different view that looks a little bit prettier. Let's go from a very detailed analysis to something more strategic. And why are we dropping? Where is it dropping? So we could simply take that same view when we've added some traffic lights. Let's say if it's less than a 5% or greater than positive 5, let's put some up and down arrows on it. But let's say we wanted to understand this by the market itself. So we're just going to take customer class, swap it. I'm going to collapse that. And now we can see those government cutbacks for our budget deficit are taking hold, and we can see that the military is now using a lot less sauce on their pasta to save some money for our deficit. If we wanted to drill into that and see where it's happening, we can look at their down arrows and notice that we're seeing it in Bismarck and in Fort Leon. So again, that was just a way of taking it one other way. If we didn't want to see it by customer class or type of customer, we might want to look at it by some other metric. It could be by state, by how long they've been a customer, any of those. Or simply take it by territory, swap that out, and now we're looking at it by territory. And I can say I have 2 bad territories. I might want to drill down to the salesperson and eventually drill down to the customer. So even though that we're down 12% in the Northeast, I can say I have some very high-performing salesperson people, and one guy is knocking the whole territory down. Jake Johnson with his 39% change is where the problem is. So it's that easy to start moving things around, and it's great to have the visual, sexy visualizations, which we'll show you in a minute, but at the end of the day, when we're dealing with financial and operational data, a lot of people have to do some very basic things. So let's take it one more step, and let's look at financial reporting and how we can use Bio to replace or do a better job in Management Reporter or FRX. Here's a simple P&L. The navigation is such that anything in this top area acts as a filter. So if we just wanted to see our pasta from the GL now, we just use that as a filter, and that would just be our pasta. Or simply move it on top and nest it, and we could see our pasta and our sauce P&Ls. And of course, we can drill down and drill through to transaction level detail. Click on a number, actions, drill through. That minus 300 that we were focused on is that minus 500 plus the 200. Or if we look at a different higher level, those are all the transactions that make that up. So we just drilled through to the transaction level detail with that. We saw before some of those calculations, how easy they are to do with the in-grid calculator. I was just hitting undo. So if we want to do percent of year to date, very easy to do. Just pick up the calculator. We'll use a built-in function called ratio percent. And we're just going to say take this column called year to date and use total revenue as the numerator, and we just have a brand new calculation. Notice how revenue is 100% and everything else is a function of that 100%. So we showed the calculator, we did some drill down and drill through. Now let's actually look at some drill around type capabilities that are hard for most systems to do. So we notice, let's change this from year-to-date to year-to-date versus prior year-to-date and the variance as well. And we can see advertising had a huge increase year over year. And I might want to understand why that happened. So the first thing we could do is look at advertising by vendors. But I don't see vendor as an option here. It's easy enough to open up the vendor simply by clicking on it. So now we have another dimension to analyze by. And simply let's drag that advertising, remember this 1.2 million, over with the vendor. And now we're drilling down and we have a vendor analysis for that particular category of account, advertising. And we can see where the difference really is. If I wanted to focus on Andover, that went up substantially, we could simply take Andover, swap it with our time period. We'll add in the current period. And notice how we just took 2 years. We can do some trending. We'll also do year-to-date as well. And I'm just going to, again, drill down. And now I have it month by month. So what we've created is a very self-service, interactive environment for doing that kind of analysis. But also there's people who are not going to do what I just did. They're not going to do the point and click and the drag and drop. They just want to go into a view and get the information they need for their particular role. So Bio has a number of these pre-configured views. If we look at some of the ones coming out of sales and customer analytics, some of the ones you might be interested in are understanding customer retention. This is an example of adding value to the information you've already captured, going beyond just sending out the same value you've caught within your accounting system. So if we look at the retention, and these are just a list of the views, here's an example. It's saying rolling 12 periods as of October, we did $39 million in sales, and of that, 47% came from first-year customers, and 26% came from customers we've acquired 13 to 24 months ago and 3 years. So it's interesting when you start looking at this over time for companies who have 5, 6, 7 years of data, and they start to see where is their customer acquisition, then go to the next level. Is it based on product? Is it based on region or salesperson? And using that to understand and really drive business and become more effective at what they're doing. The next one, everybody's always interested in customer acquisition. So again, pre-built report, we start looking at customers, and here every time we come in, we're just looking at all customers we've acquired 1 month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and then some additional information, how much open orders, what's their receivables amount, who's their salesperson, whatever properties of that customer can be displayed right here. And then one last one we'll do is customers at risk of, we'll do shipping performance. So one of the things that's important is, again, adding this value. So when you start to look at the amount of content, that middle bar I was talking about, and you start to see what we have, it's not just sales data, for example. So these are your typical sales, cost, quantity, et cetera. If we start getting into stats, and we're counting the number of days between an order date and a ship date, the number of orders that shipped late, how many return documents did we have? So we start to create some very value-added metrics by using that. One of the other things, just to wrap up, is, again, I said we work with many visualization layers. So this is another visualization layer or visualization tool that we work with and connect to. This is called Tableau. But if you're looking for geospatial mapping and very, very visual analytics, this tool lets you do that. And again, totally interactive. If I wanted to just drill down on an area, I could simply drill down and go right into the map. So with that, we'll wrap up. Just the last point I want to make is, again, our big differentiators are Bio is extremely easy, and the Slinky is obviously an icon there. Very easy to use, extremely expandable, adaptable, and affordable. Thank you very much, and we look forward to hearing from you.
All right, thanks, Dan. If you can stop your sharing, we will move on to our next presenter, and that is Frank Bunker from Silvon. Frank, I'm going to get your presentation status up, and you should now have audio. I'm sorry, Frank. Hold on one more second while I get your audio working. Frank, you there?
I want to thank everyone for taking the time today to take a look at stuff and see what everyone here has to offer. I'd like to introduce you to Silvon and our solution, Stratum, for Microsoft Dynamics. My name's Frank Bunker, and I'll take you on a quick tour here. First thing I want to talk a little bit about was just Silvon and introduce you guys to us as a company. We've been around for 25 years. We've been doing this, and when I say this, I mean providing BI for a lot of companies across a number of ERPs. Real focus on people in the manufacturing and distribution location space. We've got over 1,800 customers that use our solutions today. Many of those are using Microsoft Dynamics solutions to power the information that's included. An important point, I think, is that this is all we do. We are 100% focused on supplying BI solutions to folks like you guys. As far as our solution goes, I think it's important to look at it across the enterprise. Stratum is a solution that provides for gathering information into a set of integrated applications that span your enterprise and your supply chain. And most people obviously focus on sales to start, but I think it's very important to be able to look at information from other parts of the business in context with information from around our pinwheel here, as you're trying to understand more detail about what you've collected. Additionally, these applications are prepackaged, so they provide you a roadmap of how to collect information out of Dynamics and into this solution, as well as on the other side, on the user side, the ability for them to do inquiries, dig into the information, and begin to get the value out of what you've collected. So Stratum provides for a series of applications that are integrated and allows people to see things in context. The other side of that equation, of course, is the ability to deliver that information. And this is where we have a strategy called flexible information delivery that focuses on the fact that we know there's a lot of different roles out there, different users, different skill sets, different information needs that we need to address. And to that end, we start with reporting and online analysis. And that's an ability to go ahead and provide information to people either direct in their email, out on your network, provide web-based online and analysis of that information, drill to detail, flexible time, bringing things together in lists to focus on certain sets of information, maybe key customers, new product introductions, sorting, filtering, slicing, dicing, et cetera. So, and from that web-based analytics, that allows us to do a number of other things too that I think are important as people move through their business needs and get more and more sophisticated. And we tend to call that performance visibility, and that ability to build and manage scorecards. So we supply a series of scorecards that allow you to not only see the detail or see the metrics you're trying to look at, but drill in by cell into the detail that drives each of those metrics. Additionally, dashboards that provide for a nice, consistent view of information for users, a simple place to go to focus on what's important to the business, doesn't require a high skill level from the user, quick in and out, good information. And then also in this world, I believe that in today's world, we all need to deal with mobile analytics and the ability to deliver information on an iPad, see the information that you have in Stratum, be able to interact with that information out in the field, maybe at the customer site or at your partner site, is very important and becoming a bigger and bigger part of what everybody needs to supply, and Stratum provides for mobile analytics as well. As we think about our Dynamics customers in that environment, I think it's very important for us to help you leverage the investment you've already made. And to that end, we want to make sure we integrate with the tools that you have out there that you've already invested in by virtue of your Dynamics installation. And we know the obvious one is Excel. We want to be able to deliver information in Excel. Everybody ultimately wants to get it there. Also, you can directly interact with our solution in Excel. So if you've got people that are more comfortable in the Excel environment, maybe using pivot tables directly against our database, that's something you can do as well. We want to make sure we can deliver that information Outlook's a great vehicle for sending information around to people. But I think it's also important that our information is directly accessible through reporting services, and the ability to get to our data, all the metadata, all the security is still there when you reference data that way. And then using SharePoint, whether it's through the business portal or directly in SharePoint, to get to our information and the information you've included in Stratum. One last piece of flexible information delivery that I think is very important and is the ability to work by exception, and that's the idea of alerting. And we want to make sure that instead of you searching through the information, looking for exceptions, you can establish business rules and then get informed and be informed on a timely basis, whether that's maybe you want to get a message every week, every month, every day, on exceptions to some of the business rules that you've put in place. We want to make sure that's available, and that's a key component that's embedded in Stratum as well. So with our integrated applications and our flexible information delivery, we offer an end-to-end solution that puts you in a great position to start with reporting and online analysis and build off that, and then maybe even ultimately get into some of our more advanced applications, which include things like sales planning, forecasting, statistical forecasting, and predictive analytics, as well as inventory optimization. And with that, I thought I'd give you a quick tour of a few things in Stratum and let you see what things look like. So I'm going to start here. I'm in Stratum. I've gone just to a website, and I'm just going to take you through some of the prepackaged analytics that we have and give you an idea of how some of the functionality available here in Stratum and some of the content that we include for our Dynamics customers. I'm going to go in, and I've got a home page set up here that's just showing me a basic gross margin year-to-date and plan performance graph. But I'm going to go ahead and click on my comparative sales view here, and this is a predefined view that we have. It's a global view, so that means everybody can get to it. As I manipulate this view, I could save a personal copy for my own use. I can just click and begin to move through information here. You can see that I'm just moving through information. I've got information here for a rolling 3 months, the current month, as well as year-to-date information. I can easily manipulate this information. I could go from division to salesperson. I could also go ahead and say, I just want to see information just for this division. So now I'm looking at stuff just for my food service division by salesperson there. I can easily include additional information, so I can drill anywhere, go anywhere. You can see over here I've got customer sold to information. I could also go get more detail. Maybe here I'll go look and find information on the product side. So I'll bring in some product information, maybe some product brand information, and I can easily include those things into my inquiries as well. So here I'll go salesperson by product brand. That allows me to go ahead and see what's going on there. I could go down to all the way to the product level if I want as well. So I could just salesperson by product. I could flip that around, see product by salesperson. So I can do that either way. I can easily sort or filter. So I've got sorting, ascending, descending, filtering. So you can see top 20, top 10, that kind of thing, bottom 10, bottom 10%, that kind of stuff. Another important feature in Stratum that I think is key to the practical analytics that people really want to accomplish is the ability to manipulate time by column. And here I can just double click on a column. I can easily go in, and here these first 2 columns of data that we were looking at actually show me a rolling 3 months. And I can see that here. I've gone the current month, and I've gone back 2 more months. So go back 2, add in the current month, and you've got a rolling 3. If I wanted to make that a rolling 6, I'd just say, hey, let's go the current month, go back 5, update that, and now both those columns are updated and actually show me information for a rolling 6 months. I could go ahead and along with that, the traffic light, the calculation, all that changes immediately. The other thing that I think is important from time is as people look at their sales information and other sets of time, and I want to look at information this year versus last year, maybe I want to drive this down. In this case, maybe I'll go to weeks, and I'm going to look at for the current year. I'll look at a certain period of time where we ran a certain promotion. I'll say the current week is 39. I'll go back a couple of weeks from 39, maybe back a couple of weeks. I'll update that one, but then for next year, for the previous year, what I really want to look at is the same conceptual period of time. So here, when I look at last year, I'm going to look at weeks as well, and I look at last year. I need to offset this. I don't want it to be the same set of weeks that I'm looking at this year. So I'm going to go ahead and back this up and say instead of week 37 through 39, I'm going to look at week 30 through 34, because that's the same conceptual time, whether it's because of a holiday season whether it is a promotion that I ran in different periods of time. So I can begin to compare different periods of time very easily in Stratum and see how that works. Additionally, I have other views of information that we can look at. Here's a flash or a scorecard that you can get to. Pretty straightforward stuff here. I've got month to date, week to date, and yesterday's revenue. Allows me to go ahead and the trend is month over month, statuses versus a plan. I've got profit, I've got order counts, etc. Whether I have information on either axis, on the rows or the columns, I can drill into that. I can switch this around. I certainly can easily then take this information to Excel just by clicking the Excel button. It'll take that view of information we were just looking at straight out to Excel. I also have the ability to do a save as. If I've got this view of information and I don't want to have to manipulate it, drill around, I just want to come in every day and see it, I can do a save as very easily and save that copy. I talked about scorecards. I thought it was worth showing you guys an example of a scorecard that we have. I've segmented my customers in this case by different types. I've got my key customers, and then I'm scoring them on budget achievements. So I'm looking at sales information out of the CRM system in terms of opportunity, potential sales versus a budget. I'm ranking them against one another in a best-in-class situation. I'm also ranking them on their margin performance. And then I've also got them out here, say, down on their daily sales outstanding. And, of course, I can click on this to get to more detail. In this case, I've drilled into the AR detail for that particular customer. The bad news for our organization is the majority of their AR is past due, something we probably want to focus on in this case. But that's the ability to create scorecards and see that information, not only at a high level of scoring it, but also the ability to go ahead and get into the detail. Another thing that I mentioned that I thought was